So if you live in Texas or another state where you have to renew your energy every year or every few years, depending on your contract, or even every couple months, it can get kind of confusing trying to go through the price sheets and figure out what the most affordable plan is based on your usage. So some companies will have a calculator that you can use to estimate how much you'll be spending based on how much kilowatt per hour usage you'll have in a month. Others don't have that, and so for the ones that don't have it, I have created a little calculator in Python that allows you to calculate your potential monthly kilowatt hour price. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Here's the code on the left here. Essentially, we have a method, average kilowatt hour cost, takes in three arguments: the kilowatt hour charges, which is an expected array, usage, which is a number, and then base charges, which is another array. Both those arrays are going to have numbers in them. The total cost variable is equal to the usage number times the sum of all the numbers inside the kilowatt hour charges array plus the sum of all the numbers inside of the base charges array. And then the output here that gets returned is the total cost divided by the usage times 100. We multiply it by 100 so that we can get how many cents it is per, just the formatting of the cents per kilowatt hour. So down here, we have some code that essentially gets user input from the terminal whenever you run the program. That way you don't have to keep updating the file itself. So it'll ask you for some input, you'll put that input, it'll plug it into this function, and then it'll print the result in a nice little formatted string. So let's take a look over here. We can use it real quick to compare it against this company, Energy Texas. They have their own cool little calculator here, but the problem with this calculator is it's only using these numbers, so you couldn't go to another. These are called EFL. I forget what that stands for, but it's essentially the electricity facts label, and it has information about the prices that you pay, all the different fees that you pay in a month. So in this case, they're saying that for 500 kilowatt hour usage, that the average price per kilowatt hour is 11 cents. As you use more energy, and this is very common with companies, the more energy you use, the cheaper it gets. So if you use 1,000 kilowatt hours or more before you get to 2,000, then it's 10.2 cents per kilowatt hour. And then once you get over 2,000 kilowatt hours, this is for like larger houses or a lot of consumption in the summertime if you're trying to keep the house cool, then you get down to 9.8 cents. So you're kind of incentivized to use more, but obviously it's more expensive. So they have their energy charges, which is 4.877 cents per kilowatt hour used. And then Encore, which is the company that delivers all the energy to everyone in Texas, is $3.42 per month as a base fee, and then another 4.4076 cents on the kilowatt hour used. And then this market securitization charge, which is 0.078401 kilowatt hour used. And then the last monthly base charge is $4.95, and that comes from the company Energy Texas. So if you plug in, I'm using 850 kilowatt hours per month, that puts you in the 500 to 1,000 range, or 500 to 999 range. And so if you calculate that, it's going to tell you 87.96 is your estimated monthly bill for 850 kilowatt hour usage. Average price per kilowatt hour is 10.35 cents. That's actually cheaper than the 11 cents that they said up above for the 500 kilowatt hour. And it may be because at 500, they slap on an extra fee that they're not writing about here, but most companies want to start at 500. If you do anything less than that, then they're going to charge you like a $5 or $6 fee, some type of fee, to make sure that you're like using a certain amount of energy every month. All right, so let's calculate at 1,000 kilowatt hours and see how close our calculator is to theirs. They're saying that at 1,000, so if we just plug in 1,000, it shows it up here as 10.2. If we click calculate here, it says 10.2 cents, which at 1,000 kilowatt hours is $102 estimated bill. So with our program, we're just going to run main.py. I'm going to zoom in a little bit over here so you can see better. I just had it zoomed out so you can see all the code. All right, so the first thing it asks us is the kilowatt hour charges separated by a space. So in this case, we have anything that is multiplied by kilowatt hour used, 1, 2, 3, is going to go here, separated by a space. So we have to convert 4.877 cents to 0.04877 cents. So basically that calculation is just, if they're saying that it's 4.877, then we're going to divide that number by 100 because there's 100 cents in every dollar, and then we get 0.04877. So here we're going to say 0.04877 and then a space, and then the next one is 4.4076 cents per kilowatt hour used. So we're going to divide that by 100. So again, it's 0.044076. And then the last one is this 0.078401. So that divided by 100 just adds 2 zeros before or after the decimal place. So 0.00 and then 0.078401. And those are the three values that are calculated based off kilowatt hour usage. So those are going into our array. And so we press enter, and the next thing it wants is the monthly usage. Well, we said that we're using 1,000 kilowatt hours in this month. And now it wants the base charges separated by a space. So the base charges here is $3.42. This is dollars, so we don't need to divide it by 100 or anything like that. A space, and then the next one is $4.95, which is that monthly base charge. So now if we press enter, it's going to tell us the average cost per kilowatt hour is 10.20 cents, which is exactly what they said here. Great. So that works. Of course, we could just use their calculator. We don't need to use ours because they provide this nice little calculator. So why did we build this? We built it because when you're looking for energy in Texas, there's all these websites that will show you all these different plans, and some are fixed and some are variable. Stay away from variable. You definitely want a fixed rate. Some are like this one is 3 months. Some are 24 or 36 months. Some have a certain percentage of renewable. Point being, there's just a ton of different ones, and not all of them have a calculator for the EFL sheet. So if we go over to this one from another company, Shell Energy, for example, and we take a look, they have the 500 kilowatt hour estimation, 13.7 cents, the 1,000 kilowatt hour, 13.3, and 2,000, 13.2. Energy charges are 8.6 cents per kilowatt hour. There's no base charge from the company. Then the Encore delivery charges are 4.4076 per kilowatt hour. And then the delivery charges also, they have a base rate of 3.42 per billing cycle, which is monthly. And then the minimum usage fee here is you get slapped with a $7.95 monthly fee if you use anything below 500 kilowatt hours. So we're not going to calculate anything below 500, so we're going to ignore that fee right there. But let's run the program again, and let's just say that we're using 1,000. They're telling us it's 13.3 cents, so let's see if that checks out. So the first thing we want is our kilowatt hour charges separated by a space. So we decide that we have 8.6 cents, so 8.6 divided by 100 is 0.086. And then the other one is 4.4076 per kilowatt hour, so divided by 100 is 0.044076. And then I think that's all we have in terms of kilowatt hour. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. We said our monthly is going to be 1,000 kilowatt hours. And then enter the base charges. So there's $0 base charge for the company Shell Energy, but the Encore delivery charge is $3.42 per month. So we'll go ahead and punch that in, and it's saying it's 13.35 cents. So they've rounded down to 13.3. So that is accurate. Now, if you wanted to get let's say you have all of your usage in a table from whatever company you were with the previous year, and you want to calculate, okay, last year in July, I used 2,200 kilowatt hours because it was, 105 degrees every day in Texas in certain areas. So how much is that going to cost me for the month of July moving forwards? That was at a lower rate. Maybe you were paying like 9.8 cents or something like that. So now in 2023, you would do the same thing here. We can just refer to the previous run through. So we can say 0.086, 0.044076. This next one is the important one. This is where it changes. So in this case, you're using like 2,200. And then the next thing is going to be the same. It's that 3.42 base charge. And so it's saying 13.16. Rounded up is 13.2. So you can see that anything over 2,000 kilowatt hours is about 13.2 cents. So they have these numbers here. You can modify the calculator if you want. This is just doing the 13.16 cents per kilowatt hour. If you want to know what your bill is going to be, you can modify the calculator to where it also calculates whatever that number is times whatever you said your usage was. So if it's 2,200 at 13.16 cents per kilowatt hour, then I forgot to divide by 100. Then your bill is almost $290 for that month. So pretty high. In any event, that's the calculation. You can mess around with this code. I'll share this code in the description if you want to mess around with it. But this is just a cool, fun way, easy way to use coding and a little bit of really simple math to create a calculator to give you an edge when you're going through trying to figure out who to purchase for your next energy plan. So you know exactly how much you'd be charged based on whatever the usage is and based on whatever the fees are that they give you. Again, these EFL sheets, they do tell you, like, these are the numbers, basically these are the averages based on the different tiers of kilowatt hour usage. So they're pretty spot on, but if you wanted to get exact monthly estimates and then compare that to your previous year's bills or something like that, you could with this calculator. So hopefully this is helpful and you learned a little something. The credit for this program is from ChatGPT. I basically just told it, like, hey, write me a calculator that does X, Y, and Z. And then I gave it an example. I said, given this many kilowatt hours for the usage and these random variables for the charges and the base prices, the output should equal this. And so it knew based on that, like, okay, this is the math that needs to take place for this calculator to work. Anyway, really simple program, but huge proponent of ChatGPT. I just think everybody should use it for everything. Obviously, you want to double check your work and everything, but it saves me a ton of time on a daily basis. So I'm like always telling people to use it. All right, thanks a lot. If you like this video, give it a like and a thumbs up or whatever, and we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.